And we're fortunate that Roger Geffen from CyclingUK is gracing us with his presence here today, and he's going to step up and speak a few words now.
Thank you, Casper, and thank you, everybody. I'm very honoured and a little humbled to be here because it has taken time for our organisation to come out and support this demonstration. I personally am very pleased to be here, and I came here in a personal capacity, not expecting to speak. I just wanted to show my personal support for this event because I personally, so I'm going to speak partly in an organisational capacity and partly in a personal capacity because that's what I came here to be. How I came here is in a personal capacity. I personally have long believed in the importance of different groups within an environmental movement working together across a whole spectrum of campaigning styles and approaches. And I think that the kind of collaboration that would, us supporting Stop Killing Cyclists, we need to see more of it if we're going to tackle a climate emergency. I learned a lesson in this. Very early in my campaigning career, sort of back in the, well, when I say career, I was still very much a volunteer at the time, in my mid-20s, a volunteer with the London Cycling Campaign, and I got involved in a coalition to stop Oxley's Wood, which is a massive motorway scheme that the government was planning at that time through Oxley's Wood, an 8,000-year-old ancient woodland near where I was living in southeast London. And what came together was a coalition that spanned from Earth First through the London Cycling Campaign through to the World Wildlife Fund, all coming together around a common agenda of stopping the destruction of that 8,000-year-old ancient woodland. We won, and that is powerful. So yes, we have a different campaigning style in what we're doing at Cycling UK. We've been working away at the issue of funding, but also at the issue of design standards to make sure that whatever funding is allocated to walking, and particularly to cycling, gets spent well, because an awful lot of local authorities don't yet know how to spend it well. Now, we are still awaiting for the government to produce some new design guidance for to local authorities on how to spend it well. I was hoping it was going to come out 2 days ago, but I'm actually very optimistic that when it does come out in hopefully only a few weeks' time, that'll provide the local authorities with the guidance on how to spend the money well. So the next question is, when is the money going to come through? And I really hoped that that was going to have been answered around about now. We started campaigning to influence the government spending review when that spending review was supposed to have started last November. And then this thing called Brexit came along, and it got delayed and delayed and delayed, and then suddenly it got hastened forward. And they announced a week before it actually got announced, 10 days ago, they said that 7 days ago they were going to have a spending review. And it was only going to cover 1 year, not 5, which is what it was originally meant to be. And then it said nothing about walking and cycling, which is, of course, hugely disappointing. So, like any campaign group that's in there for the long haul, we're just digging in for a bit longer. I am still very optimistic that the logjam is going to break soon. And it won't break anything like fast enough. I am confident that we will get a doubling in cycle spending, and I will be happy about a doubling of cycle spending for about a day. Because we've then got to campaign for the next doubling, and the next doubling, until we get to 20% of transport spending being allocated to walking and cycling. And that might not just be about increasing the walking and cycling spending. It might be we get there by reducing the absurd amount that is being spent on road building. That needs to be cut. We need to get away from spending so much money on worsening the problem, instead of spending money on a solution to a climate crisis, a pollution crisis, a congestion crisis, an inactivity-related health crisis, because underpinning all of those crises is an underfunding of cycling and walking crisis. We've got to tackle that, and we've got to work together to do it. And then we've got to make sure that politicians get elected locally who will spend the money well, listening to local cycling advocates like the guy from Manchester who spoke earlier, like the London Cycling Campaign, like so many of you who are here, making sure that the money gets well spent on local cycle facilities, hyper-local cycle facilities. I loved that phrase earlier. We've just got to make sure, firstly, the money comes through, that it gets spent well, and that there are opportunities to normalise cycling, so it's no longer an activity for healthy, young to middle-aged males. It becomes an activity for people of all ages and backgrounds, from grandchildren to grandparents, able-bodied, disabled alike. It's got to become as normal as it is in the Netherlands, and then and only then will I be happy. I look forward to it coming soon. Let's work together on it.
Thank you very much, Roger. Okay, next, can we have fellow cycling campaigner John Williams?